Good day everyone, my name is Remark Amado and today we will be talking about environment and sustainability. For the lesson outline, we will be talking about natural capital use and degradation or ecological footprint, environmental problem in the Philippines that includes population increase, poverty, unsustainable resource use, and biomimicry principles. Natural capital use is the ecological capital assets are then the principal stock of ecosystem components that provide a flow of goods and services that provide public benefits or that can be transformed into goods and services for trade markets. Ecological degradation is defined as the overall deterioration of an ecosystem. This is due to several factors such as the destruction of the habitat. According to Wikipedia, it is the deterioration of the environment through depletion of resources such as quality of air, water, and soil, the destruction of ecosystems, habitat destruction, the extinction of wildlife, and pollution. Ecological footprint is the only metric that measures how much nature we have and how much nature we use. In countries, it improves sustainability and well-being. For the local leaders, it optimizes the public project investments, and for the individuals, it helps us understand their impact on the planet. How the footprint works. Ecological footprint accounting measures the demand and supply of nature. On the demand side, the ecological footprint adds up all the productive areas through which a population, a person, or a product competes. It measures the ecological assets that a given population or product requires to produce the natural resources it consumes, including plant-based food and fiber products, livestock and fish products, timber and other forest products, space for urban infrastructure, and to absorb its waste, especially carbon emission. The ecological footprint tracks the use of productive surfaces areas. Typically, these areas are cropland, grazing land, fishing grounds, built-up land, forest area, and carbon demand on land. On the supply side, a city, state, or nation's biocapacity represents the productivity of its ecological assets. This includes cropland, grazing land, forest land, fishing grounds, and built-up land. These areas, especially if left unharvested, can also serve to absorb the waste we generate, especially our carbon emissions from burning fossil fuels. Both the ecological footprints and biocapacity are expressed in global hectares, globally comparable standardized hectares with the world average productivity. Each city, state's or nation's ecological footprint can be compared to its biocapacity or that of the world. Next is the environmental problem in the Philippines. First is the population increase. The current population of the Philippines is 112,233,339 as of April 25, 2022. This is based on Worldometer elaboration of the latest United Nations data. The large number of people and their migration patterns have led to crowded cities, waste and housing problems, pollution and encroachment of upland forests and watersheds, leading to denudation and consequently significant reduction of carbon sinks. Population growth is adding to conflicts over water, energy, food, open space and wilderness, transportation infrastructure, schoolrooms, and numerous other problems. In developing countries, a large number of family size is a major cause of poverty and poor health. Next is poverty. The Rural Poverty Portal reports that half of the poor in the Philippines live in the rural areas. The poorest of the poor are the indigenous, landless, laborers, fishermen, small farmer, mountain folk, and women. Deforestation, depleted fisheries, and unprotected farmland are major problems in these people. As a result, there is a never-ending cycle of poverty that leads to parents having to give up their children in hopes that they will have a better life somewhere else. There is a little doubt that poverty creates a culture for the creation of orphans. Many parents living in poverty are unstable to care for their children as they cannot afford food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, and education. They are not able to adequately provide for their children, which leaves some to resort to placing their children in orphanages in hopes that they will have the better lives. According to the Philippine Statistics Office Agency, the first semester of 2021 poverty in coincidence among population or the proportion of the poor Filipinos whose per capita income is not sufficient to meet their basic food and non-food needs was estimated at 23.7%. The main causes of poverty in the Philippines is high inflation during crisis periods, high levels of population growth, and high and persistent levels of inequality when it comes to incomes and assets, which dampen the positive impacts of economic expansion and recurrent shocks and exposure to risks such as economic crisis, conflicts, natural disasters, and environmental poverty. The next is as unsustainable resource use. The Philippines' rich biodiversity is under threat, mostly from human activities, including deforestation and forest degradation, illegal fishing, and illicit wildlife trade. There are top 5 environmental problems in the Philippines according to PSST or the Privacy, Safety, Security, and Trust. This is the pollution, global warming, overpopulation, natural resource depletion, and waste disposal. The third is biomimicry principles. Biomimicry, literally imitating the living, aims to take inspiration from natural selection solutions adapted by nature and translate the principles to human engineering. The biomimicry approach aims to favor choices tested by nature, which had millions of years to understand what makes best and what doesn't. When translating nature's strategies into design, the science of practice involves three essential elements. First is emulate. More than a rote copying of nature's strategies, emulation is an exploratory process that strives to capture a recipe or blueprint in nature's example that can be modeled in our own design. Ethos. If the environment is to be protected to at least minimally acceptable degree, approaches that focuses on the conserve force of the state must be complemented by the development of an ecological ethos, whereby groups and individuals are motivated to act with non-self-interested concern for the environment. Next is reconnect. It is the extent to which people see themselves as part of nature, an emotional affinity towards the natural world, and a subjective sense of connection with it. There is also a certain level of awareness required to feel connected. These three components are infused in every aspect of biomimicry and represents these core values at its essence. There are ways you can begin to become more environmentally friendly. 1. Become more aware of resources. 2. Practice conservation. 3. Plant trees. 4. Conserve water. 5. Try renewable energy. Go rooftop solar panels. 6. Change to LED light bulbs. 7. Cut down meat on your plate. 8. Stop food waste. Once again, this is Remark Amado, AB Communication student. Thank you.